You slightly preempted the question I was going to ask to Henry, which was, is this deal now dead? It's been voted down overwhelmingly twice. Could she come back for a third time? And what is she going to get? Because Jean-Claude Juncker yesterday said, this is it. There are no third hits on this.
Of course he would say that, and I think they'll try and say the same thing at the European Council meeting at the end of next week. But the deal's not dead, because there are only three options overall. We leave without a deal, and I think Parliament is almost certainly going to rule that out tomorrow for the end of March, or no Brexit, we stop and we have a second referendum. Jeremy Corbyn, I think, didn't even mention that either time when he spoke in the House of Commons today. So the second referendum campaign is stalling. It's very far short of a majority in the House of Commons. The only option really remains a version of this deal. She needs to persuade 75 MPs to change their position and back it. I think that's very difficult, but it's certainly not impossible. And what we did see today is, although of course the result was disappointing, she made some sizable inroads within her own party in persuading some backbench critics to move over and support it. We saw some influential Eurosceptic MPs, Nigel Evans, for example, David Davis, a former Brexit secretary himself, Zach Goldsmith, whose father ran the referendum party, was a former Tory mayoral candidate in London, Nadine Dorries. They all moved their position and backed the deal. And I don't think any of them are necessarily in love with the current deal, but they recognise it's probably the safest path to delivering Brexit.
What's the point for those Labour MPs who might have come across to support the Prime Minister after the Attorney General's advice this morning and the signs that the DUP were going to vote against it? It was highly unlikely that they were going to come across and vote when they didn't really need to, because it was going to be defeated.
I think it's exactly right. I think if we got a bit closer, I think there would be a sizable block of Labour MPs who might move across. There's also a group of Labour MPs who've been very clear that they won't support a second referendum under any circumstance, and what they're looking for is potentially a softer Brexit, as Grace was saying. But the thing is that softer Brexit is already possible under the current deal. All those MPs are trying to do is change the non-binding bits of the deal. It's a bit of a strange discussion. They're happy with the existing withdrawal agreement as it is. So I think we can imagine them ultimately moving. And as Katie was saying on a no deal, first rule of politics is you've got to be able to count. There is no majority for a no deal. Even those who are actively proposing a no deal and think it would be fine, and I think you can make arguments in that direction, they recognise it would be a huge national challenge. And it's quite clear that any government trying to do that would immediately lose its majority in the Commons, wouldn't be able to pass crucial legislation, and probably wouldn't be even able to govern. So at that point, I think it gets very hard.
I'm trying to work out, Grace,